come and make some comments about family and friendship. So, I basically came to talk to you two, Otis and Edwina Moss, because that's where the roots of this family and friendship have taken root. We have known each other 50 years. Shortly after you guys came here, and got all settled in, whenever I was in Atlanta before, when you and Carol and company were working at SCLC, I never met you, but heard a lot about you. So, when you came, Kevin, little Otis, and Daphne. So, I'm having this conversation. It's really not a conversation, but I'm making this remark directly to you, so everybody else can listen, right? And these are, I have to call the roll on the children, because they kind of are the glue of this whole thing that puts the nuclear in the nuclear family. I'm going to start with Kevin. Kevin was a teenager, and I can't remember how old, not very old. And if you look at Kevin now, I don't know how many people know Kevin. Where are you, Kevin? Okay, just stand over 1 minute. Kevin was the oldest, and he is just like he is now, in my view. He was always funny, he was always on top of it, he was a jokester, but very respectful, very well bred, and just a very loving young man. So, of course, I followed his life through these last years. That brings us to this moment. Daphne was special. I'm going to set her aside for a minute while I talk about little Otis. And little Otis, you're going to tell the story. They came, I think, you might have been, what, five or six? 5 or 6. So we had this energetic person just running around, and we were trying to show the kids all the little spots, and we would go to the art museum and sit out and have picnics and feed ducks and the whole dime. Of course, I had recently graduated from graduate school at Case, and in education, I thought I knew everything. So I had all the answers, and come on, we're going to make these kids well-rounded kids. So, when Otis, you know I'm going to tell it. Otis was in 4th grade. He had a teacher named Miss Hoover. Now, here is a kid that was just curious and wonderful, and Miss Hoover, well, Edwina and Otis and I had this conversation about Miss Hoover had some concerns, and she was calling to come to the school, because Otis just wasn't meeting the mark. You know, he just wasn't cutting it. And this was an opportunity they could have to look for some options for him. Because he just wasn't getting it. So we caucused over that, and of course everything worked out in that sense, in the school sense. He stayed where he was, etc. But I'm looking at this kid who is just a wonderful young man. Just all over the place, just looking and exploring and living life. And then somebody tells you, oh, no, I don't think so. Not quite yet. You don't fit in this box. You stay here. Well, we got special classes, so we're going to do special classes. Well, all that got resolved, but over the years, often when I see Otis, first of all, when he graduated from Morehouse, I'm saying, Otis, let's go see Miss Hobart. Yeah. I still have Miss Hobart's number written in my heart. And I just wanted to go to Miss Hobart's house unannounced. house, rang her bell, and said, "Oh, hi, Miss Hoover. My name is Pat Hoover, and I just wanted to drop by because I knew you'd just be delighted to see Otis Moss just graduated from Morehouse College." But we're former students. Same thing happened. I went through that same scenario with graduate school and all that. But that is the one, when I think about us as a family, an extended family, I really look for, those moments, reflect on those moments, because those are the transitional moments that write the imprint on you. For, you had us, and I want you to stand up. This is Otis, the former slow learner. But our families actually came together over the years in so many different configurations and causes and purposes and tragedies and joys and everything that goes with it. We have held steadfast. Here we are. Otis Moss Sr. is 90 years old. It wasn't Moss. It's 90 years old. Our youngest kid in this whole generation is 10. And she's 10. Aurora's 10 years old. So we've got all those years and those generations to bring our kids down into this moment as the wonderful human beings that they are. And they are all of them. The other person I want to talk about is Daphne. Daphne, when I think of Daphne, Daphne was like a preteen when she played. What I remember about her, well, here comes the other family. Where y'all been? About you, I'm not going to talk to you on top of it. But just throughout this journey with the Mosses and the Hoovers and the Harpers, it has brought us to this moment where we have wonderful children, wonderful experiences, wonderful memories, wonderful everything. Lasting friendships, commitments, respect for each other, and all of that. But Daphne Moss, and I'm speaking on myself as an adult, I think Daphne was 13, wasn't she like 13 when y'all came in? First time I saw Daphne, I looked at her face and I looked at her eyes. Daphne had big eyes. And maybe a slight dimple in one of her cheeks. And she was just deep, is the only way I can say it. She was quiet, but she was sweet. That would be the generic word for her. She was sweet. And what Daphne was brilliant. She was a wonderful teacher. She took on this whole notion of mental health serving. And she did that. She was effective. She was all over Cleveland and various social services agencies, working hard, and giving the best of herself. But Daphne Moss and I had a friendship. She was a prolific writer. She was beautiful everything. She drew pictures, and I can remember her. She would do some picture, and I was trying to say, well, explain to me what this is. She says, as she tried to explain, I said, well, I'm not sure I understand. She said, well, what about this? She said, if I could paint it a color, it would be cute. But, and the point of all that is just her interest, how introspective she was, and how she just lived in our universe, but also in a larger universe, always. So I really want to single her out because I consider her one of my best teachers in life. I learned so much from Daphne Moss. As I think about that sometimes. I think about my grandma, who was the best teacher ever. But there was Daphne. Daphne held steadfast to her beliefs. She was loving, no nonsense. It depends on what day it was. But she wrote her own story. She lived her own life. And she marched to her drama. So I wanted to just sum up our family just in terms of, we have Daphne. We had Daphne. Now, interestingly, as Daphne transitioned, it was on the week, it was during the week before Otis and Monica got married. So Daphne left and Monica stayed. So I want you to stand up too, because you transitioned off. So my 3 minutes, I just want to say thank you. All these little children came in late. And it's a family, and we'll always be. Those are the ties that bind us. So, happy birthday, happy everything.